What is up, guys? I'm back with another Honkai Star Rail video. This time, we'll be talking about the new character, Jade. But a quick disclaimer. This video was recorded on Hoyoverse's Creation Experience server, which means whatever you see here may not fully reflect the final product. Firstly, she is a follow-up DPS that is good against multiple enemies. I guess her being a follow-up DPS is not surprising by now, considering she works for the IPC. Anyway, the main part of her kit is her skill. You select a teammate to become the IRS, or Deck Collector, which gives a speed buff for 3 turns. If you select Jade herself to become the Deck Collector, she will not get a speed buff, unfortunately. So I guess the game encourages you to pick a teammate. Anyway, every time the Deck Collector attacks, Jade will deal additional quantum damage to the enemy. And whenever an enemy gets hit by Jade or the Deck Collector, Jade gets a charged stack, and once she gets 8 of them, she launches a follow-up attack that hits all enemies. So her skill is pretty good, but of course, nothing in the world is free, because becoming a Deck Collector also means you will lose HP every time you hit an enemy. But do not worry if you're at 1 HP, because you will not die. It's basically like using Firefly's skill. You will not die from the HP drain. Her technique is also pretty interesting. If you use it, the enemies around you will not attack you, which is understandable because she is basically like Makima. But once you enter battle, every enemy affected by her technique will enter combat. But it's fine, because it helps her build up charge attacks faster. Jade also gets 15 stacks of Pawned Asset, which is a different type of stack compared to charge. Pawned Asset basically makes Jade do more damage the more stacks she has. Here are the ways she can get Pawned Asset stacks besides her technique. 1 stack for each enemy that enters combat. 3 stacks whenever it's the Deck Collector's turn. And 3 stacks when Jade uses her follow-up attack. As you can see in this example, 4 enemies got hit by Jade, giving her 4 charge stacks. And from her technique, I got 15 Pawned Asset stacks, and 4 extra because I'm fighting 4 enemies. So in total, I get 19 stacks. And if you look at my earlier clip, notice how Jade gets 3 Pawned Asset stacks when it's Topaz's turn, as she is my Deck Collector. And she gets 5 more stacks because she did her follow-up attack. Finally, her ultimate attacks all enemies and also increases her follow-up attack damage for the next 2 times she uses it. It also has a pretty cool animation that I did not expect Hoyoverse to do. Alright, so how do we build her? For Light Cone, obviously her signature is the best. But if you do not have that, you can try the new upcoming Eternal Calculus Light Cone from the Herta shop. You can also try the 4-star Genius's Repose, which helps keeps her buffs up in content like Pure Fiction. For Relic sets, I think you should use 4-piece Genius of Brilliant Stars, or the 4-piece Ash Blazing Grand Duke. For Planar sets, if you plan to run her with another Erudition teammate, I think the Izumo set will be really strong. But without an Erudition teammate, you should go for the Salsodo or the Duran set. For main stats, I would go crit body, attack percent boots since she does not care about speed, attack percent rope, and quantum damage sphere. I would try to get 2.7 thousand attack and 60 crit rate and 120 crit damage. As for Eidolons, E1 increases Jade's follow-up attack damage and helps her proc it faster by getting more charge stacks easily. E2 is free crit rate. I think E2 is a good stopping point for her. E4 is more damage for Jade after using her ult, and E6 also does more damage via Quantum Resistance Pen. And while selecting a teammate with her skill, Jade also becomes a Deck Collector, which helps her build up her charge and Pawn Asset stacks faster, allowing for even more follow-up attacks and damage. So based on her kit, it's obvious Jade synergizes really well with other follow-up attack characters like Himiko, Topaz, and Herta. These characters are ideal to become Jade's Deck Collector, but I'm not saying you should bring any follow-up character for Jade. If the follow-up attack character is too slow, such as Blade, the team will be pretty dog, no cap. As for the other 2 slots, you can try a support like Robin, Ting Yun, Ran Mei, and a sustain such as Aventurine, Huo Huo, or Fu Xuan. This clip that's playing right now is me using a E0 S1 Jade. And as you can see, the fight takes a pretty long time, even with multiple enemies. Even with Topaz as my deck collector, her frequent attacks still take a bit of time for Jade to proc her follow-up. Obviously, if I had Eidolons on Jade, this run would be much faster. So definitely never use Jade against a single enemy. So here I have Jade E6 S5 playing in Pure Fiction Stage 4. Since her E6 makes her also become a deck collector, notice how fast she builds her stacks. Like, look at how fast I get a follow-up attack one after the other. Also, her damage is pretty decent, but honestly, she does feel gated behind Eidolons. But I guess it fits her character. I mean, look at her design and personality. She looks like a high maintenance woman, so if you spend money on her, you're gonna see her at her best. And I'm all for it. Alright, to summarize that lesson in Yapology, she performs very well against multiple enemies and waves, because her charge stacks will build up very fast, allowing her to spam her follow-up attacks very frequently. Definitely do not use her against single target enemies. You won't see much of her potential. Because of this, she kinda excels at modes like Pure Fiction. Anyway, let me know what you think about Jade, and if I missed anything, I will leave it in a pinned comment. That's it. See ya.